Welcome back everyone to my channel. In this video we'll explore one of the coolest features of the Next.js app router, dynamic routing. By the end of this video you'll have a simple blog where each post has its own dynamic page. So let's begin. So in this tutorial, as you know, you have to set up your Next.js project by using a command. So we'll just pass this and go ahead and in this folder called app, create your first folder for have a dynamic routing for your blogs. I will call it blog or posts as you prefer. And then so as you know, we want to have a dynamic ID routing, so that's why we have to create another folder called ID between two brackets, and then in this ID folder you have to create a new page called page.js. So until now we have created an ID folder which represents the dynamic segments of the URL, and inside this page.js let's render the dynamic ID. So here I will use this shortcut RFC to create my function, and I will just rename this to post, and then we can just remove this import as well because we don't need this in Next.js 15. So here I have my simple div, which I have just a page. So now we want to render our dynamic, which we are using params to do it. Params object contains the dynamic parts of the URL. For example, visiting /post/1 will display post ID, for example 1, or if you go to the your /post/2, it will represent the your second post. So in this example we're just gonna pass three posts with some IDs that I'm gonna show you. So here we will pass the params object, and then we will call it just here in a variable. I will call it ID because it's more common, which equals to params, and then we have to write another function to generate an static paths for the post. So in the app router we use the generate static params function to define all the possible dynamic routes. So now here I will export my function as async, and it's a function, and I will call it generate static params with bracers, and here I will return some ID as I desire in brackets. For example, ID number 1, which represents the first block, and ID number 2, which represents the second block, and ID number 3, which represents the third block, and that's all. Now if we go back to our page in Next.js, we will see that in the first we are in localhost 3000, but if you want to use our dynamic routes, we just have to use /blog or post and /1. We will see that here we are having a page, because in this div page we have just put a simple page word. But if we want to make it better, we can simply edit this div tag, and I prefer to use some simple examples for you, the main subject of this video. So I will just put a post ID with the ID that we have created. So if we reload this page, we have post ID 1, which represents the first ID, the first block, and if I go to second, we have the second. If I go to the third, I have the third. This page will be statically generated and build a time. So we have seen it now, and for example, in the main page we have just a Next.js default template. I will go ahead and delete this, and I will just create another function. I will call it home, and I will just delete this import because we don't need it. And let's go ahead and create some links tag which will help us to reach our blogs better. So here I will just create an h1 tag which I will take, for example, welcome to my blog, and then we will have, for example, a ul tag which represents the lists, and in bracers and brackets because we want to make it array. For example, I will call it 1, 2, and 3 dot map, and we want to map it because we don't want to hard code. And I will pass the ID here, and then I will use an arrow function, then another, and here I will just pass the list tag with a key because it's required, and I will make it equal to ID. So now we can have our link tag. So here I will import the link tag from next/link, and here I can pass the href to, for example, /posts / with $sign and ID. So now this function adds the link to each post. If we click a link, it will take us to its dynamic page. Here we are just make it easier to pass any blogs from a home page. So I will call it, for example, go to post and ID. So if I go back to my main page, we have go to post 1, which takes us to post /1, and post 2, which takes us to /2, and 3 to the first post. And here we can see that it's easier to navigate to our dynamic page by adding links on the home page, which open desired blogs. So that's all for the now. So this is an example for a block card, how it looks like. If you put an image, for example, if I click it, basically it takes us to the second post, and as for third, and as for the first. And yes, that's all we had for today. And now we have each dynamic page now includes a title, for example, and making our blog more engaging. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your feedback. Until the next video, have a good time.